A blaze that's been raging out of control for close to a month at the Grand Canyon has hit a dangerous new milestone. It's reached mega fire status, so intense it's even creating its own weather.
Turning now to the west, where wildfires in California and Arizona continue spreading. The so-called mega fire on the north rim of the Grand Canyon has burned more than 120,000 acres. Meanwhile, dry conditions north of Los Angeles are making containment of a fire burning through a national preserve that much more difficult.
In Utah, the Monroe Canyon fire growing rapidly, the governor declaring a state of emergency.
The odds of us putting it out anytime soon are pretty low, just to be honest.
And in Arizona, that mega fire dubbed Dragon Bravo, burning for nearly a month at the Grand Canyon, has grown to more than 100,000 acres.
This is fire behavior that many of us have never seen before. This is the driest it has ever been in this area, and we've been keeping those records since 1960.
This fire burning so hot, it's creating its own erratic weather system. The wildfire threat comes as 13 million across the Southwest, Texas, and southern Florida are under heat alerts.
Across southern Europe, firefighters have been battling to contain massive wildfires fueled by blistering temperatures and dry conditions. At least 12 people are dead. In the area around Bursa in Turkey, over 3,000 people were forced to flee their homes, while homes were also evacuated in the suburbs of Athens.
Southern Europe is burning, and firefighters are struggling to contain the flames. In the Albanian Alps, steep terrain is hampering efforts despite army support. Homes are now at risk, and thousands have been forced to flee. We are dealing with a very severe fire that we cannot control, the head of the fire service says. Given that there are hurricane-force winds, this makes it extremely dangerous for everyone working near the front. In Greece, fast-moving wildfires have been threatening the suburbs of Athens. Flames tearing through homes as temperatures soared above 42 degrees. And fire raged in the surrounding hills.
Turkey, Greece and Bulgaria are among the worst affected countries, with many residents forced to leave their homes. Temperatures soared to 42.4 degrees Celsius in central Greece yesterday. That's just over 108 Fahrenheit. Wildfires also hit other parts of the eastern Mediterranean. In Sardinia, these pictures from Italian firefighters show smoke rising from the beach in Villa. In Bulgaria, volunteers fighting fires there described the situation as a merciless tragedy. Strong winds and heat drove wildfires across Albania's southern districts, and records were broken in Turkey, where temperatures reached just over 50 degrees Celsius and fires raged in several regions there. Some local authorities have announced restrictions on water consumption, including for the resort of Çeşme on Turkey's west coast.
And firefighters in Arizona are still trying to contain the Dragon Bravo fire near the Grand Canyon's north rim. The blaze, which started a month ago, has burned more than 123,000 acres.
My goodness, these firefighters they'll just work night after day, day after night until we tell them to come in and we'll swap them out with the fresh crew. The wind is really starting to gust here on the Gifford Fire, and that is sending the flames into these canyons and these wilderness areas where there's really no natural fire break. Maurice, that is making aircraft a key part of the fire here, a firefighting effort here, both tankers and helicopters, as they try to slow this thing down.
Perfect storm, as the rancher said.
On the northern rim of the Grand Canyon, angry orange clouds. They're known as pyrocumulus, a rare weather phenomenon created by intense heat from bushfires. And this one, dubbed the Dragon Bravo fire in Arizona, is relentless and extreme. It was sparked by a lightning strike and has been burning out of control now for close to a month. It's officially reached mega fire status after more than doubling in size in the past week, now with a footprint of around 47,000 hectares.
Extreme fire behavior, something that many folks have never seen before.
The fires scorched an historic Grand Canyon lodge, cabins and a visitor center, and it's filled the northern part of the canyon with dense smoke. When the blaze first broke out, the National Park Service Office chose to manage it as a controlled burn, a forest management method. They could instead have immediately smothered the flames. Strong winds caused embers to jump containment lines and crews lost control. Historically dry conditions and the unique terrain has made it so hard to get the upper hand.
The upper Midwest still dealing with wildfire smoke from Canada. Chicago's iconic skyline barely recognizable.
It's weird to see downtown all hazy like that.
Lollapalooza festival goers feeling the impacts too.
Fireworks on top of the air quality, it was kind of like, this is a lot, and my lungs started to hurt.
It comes as the South saw flooding late Friday. In Alabama, this driver pulling an escape maneuver. The half-submerged car appears to be stuck in a flooded parking lot, but the driver behind the wheel manages to drive away.
Dana, what are the other threats tonight?
Well, Jose, there's a slight risk for severe storms in the plains, producing wind gusts up to 80 miles per hour, damaging hail and possible tornadoes. As we head into Sunday, flood watches will be in effect for about 2 million people in the southeast, and air quality alerts from those Canadian wildfires spreading to some in the northeast tomorrow.
The Dragon Bravo fire burning on the north rim of the Grand Canyon has doubled in size since Sunday, making it the largest fire burning in the continental U.S. Tonight, 1,200 firefighters are on the front lines.
We've also had a few very big days here where we've actually had a little bit more moisture in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere, and that's allowed the fire column to actually develop what's called pyrocumulus, and so that's like a cloud that basically forms on top of the column itself. And that can be very dangerous because when you're lofting all of this debris from the fire and the column contains all this moisture, if something happens and the fire activity weakens for a moment, you can have that column collapse.
The incident meteorologist says while a column collapse hasn't happened at the Dragon Bravo fire yet, if it does, it could cause the fire to spread even more rapidly.
We have critical fire weather right now, so what's really important is as we manage this fire, we don't also have to manage new starts. Folks need to do all they can to be careful with fire, make sure any fire you use is in appropriate areas where it will not spread.
So David, this fire continues. It just seems to get worse and worse. It seems like they got a hold on it and then all of a sudden they don't. So how much of it is it contained right now?
Justin and Allison, good morning. Officials say it's just 4% contained. Experts actually now label it as the 10th largest wildfire in state history, roughly 14,000 acres behind the 9th worst in our state's history. And of course, this situation continues to develop, so new information continues to roll in.